Close our eyes. Try to be calm. Forget all the problems, all the challenges that we have outside. And concentrating now in this present moment. Being here with our hearts and mind open to receive the lecture from this Sunday. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Flavia. Thank you very much. Get us started. And when I did today when I did the random check of which chapter of the Gospel to talk about, I got chapter 27 of the Gospel, which is ask and it shall be given to you. Ask, it shall be given to you, which is probably the most generous passage of the Gospel, right? So it's ask and it shall be given to you. This is very powerful, right? Isn't it powerful, right? When you say like, ask and shall be given, right? It's not saying anything else. I mean, it's like whatever you want. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting topic to talk about. And I was trying to rationalize how should we approach this, because this is so far from our reality sometimes and so powerful, and sometimes I think we even question that. I think, I don't know about you, but the majority of us, I would say the majority of us question that, right? That, the power of that, right? And I don't know about you, but I don't use it. I don't use it to my own purpose, not even close to what I think I should, because if this is true, I should be asking, all the time and getting it, right? And I think the inspiration that came to me a little bit to talk to you about is this. I don't know, it came the image to me earlier on about a baby, right? So it's funny when you get, especially when they're very young, right? When they're like months old, right? And the baby is trying to figure out how to use the body, right? Trying to reach and touch stuff and experiencing things for the first time. And it's trying to like fit in that body, right? Isn't it funny to see them stumbling, trying to walk, trying to do those things, right? Isn't it interesting if you have ever seen that? It's an interesting experience, right? Because they're coming to, from our perspective, we're coming to a new body, right? But fundamentally, that's just, from what we believe, fundamentally that's just a short experience. Right now, for all of us, we're used to our bodies, right? We don't do that anymore, right? You see that to teenagers, right? Teenagers still struggling with the hormones kick in, right? They're still adjusting to the body. But at some point in time, we get used to our bodies, right? We get used to who we are. We get used to and we hopefully take care of our bodies, but we're used to it. It's like second nature. I don't know about you, but I don't think about my body most of the time if I'm doing something, because it becomes like an extension of me. I'm used to it. Hopefully I'm taking better care of my body, but that's a different discussion, right? But we're used to it. But fundamentally, if you think about what we say, what we talk about spirituality, is that that's not who we are. That's not who we are. The body I'm so used to, this body of mine, is not truly who I am. Because when the body goes away, and it goes, there's a certain span, right? We leave, no matter, even if you have a very long physical life, you go to 120 years, it comes to an end. And when it comes to an end, what happens? And clearly, the indication we're given here is that we truly are the mind. What I have right now, that's going to be with me no matter what, that truly is the expression of who I am, it's not my body. It's my mind. It's the mind. This thing that's happening today, we believe, science believes is the brain, right? This chemical, they believe it's just a electrochemical reaction that gives the consciousness its place for existence, right? We don't believe so. We believe that the consciousness, the mind, it's independent of the brain. And that's what we truly are, right? So this is the universe we have in ourselves. This is the essence of who we are, the mind. That's the space, right? So if that's the case, how important is our minds for ourselves? And that's the big hook into spirituality. The mind is everything. The mind is everything. Truly, guys, if you think about it, the mind's everything. And we don't act like it is. I think the majority of us sometimes even disregard our minds, right? We value a little bit more the body, sometimes a lot more the body, because it's where we get the sensations, right? It's how my sensations come to my mind, right? But the mind itself, the hygiene of the mind, the thoughts we nurture, all this universe we have inside somewhere, right, sometimes becomes like a secondary thing. First, because not everybody sees it. You are seeing my body right now. You're not seeing my mind. The majority of you. Maybe some of you might, right? But the majority of people don't see our minds. They see our bodies. Yet, who are we? Truly. We are the mind. And in Spiritism, in this teaching, this is emphasized like 100%. Man, this is no joke. You truly are your mind. This is who you are. That's what you are. You are your mind. And more important than that, this mind is not bound to your body. It's going to keep living. It's going to go with you, as far as we know, forever. Apparently, there's no end to this mind. There's no end to the mind. This is even scary, right? But it's profound, and it gives us the weight of how beneficial to us a balanced mind is. But yet, there's even more important now. Practically speaking, forget about anything else. Let's say you guys agree with me and we all think this is true, that we're going to, when our body stops functioning, right, the mind is going to be there. We're going to be like just waking up. What are we waking up to? Probably a different reality, a different experience, because right now we're so used to the body, right? The same way when the baby comes to the body and you see them trying to reach out and trying to adjust and adapt, the moment we probably cross out of our body, when the body stops functioning, we will be left with a different perception system. It's not going to be the same. The body is going to be gone, right? And we're going to have a different sensorial system. If you invested a lot in your mind now, here, chances are you're going to be fine, because your mind will be educated. Your mind will figure out that process, right? And you adjust quicker. But if you didn't live in your mind at all, right? If you didn't pay much attention to your mind, right? It might be a little bit rough experience, because you're going to be left only with your mind. That's who you're going to be. Your mind. Oh, I don't like my mind. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of negativity, or a lot of things that I don't like. Well, guess what? What should we be working on right now? Exactly there. Right? Because that's the thing that won't change. All my perceptions, the way I perceive things, the way I move around, all those things are going to change when my body is no longer gone. I'm going to have to deal with a different sensorial system. We're not going to talk about in details about that right now, but we do study how that happened. But one thing you know for sure, your body, the way you are used to right now, the way I reach for things, the way I do things, the way I interact with everything around me right now will change. But what's not going to change? Me. My mind, my belief system, my experience, my emotions, the way I react to things, that won't change. Will not change. Right? And that can be amazing or not so much, right? And what the spirits tell us and what the teachings tell us is that that's why you don't know how powerful your mind truly is. Because your mind manifests reality around you, right? Manifests reality around you. Have you ever noticed how reality for you, for me, change because what we have inside? I have had this experience, I may have mentioned a few times to you. I don't know, this is the first time I live in a place which is right on the ocean, right? A coastal city, right? Never lived before. And I'm so blessed. I love going to the ocean, right? Going to the beach. And just the breeze, to me, that's just the breeze, the sound of the waves. To me, that's just, I don't know, I love it. I like it. And then, San Diego to me, I'm so blessed. That's why, for me, I'm blessed. Blessed, because, it took me, I never lived before in a coastal town. And I have some friends that grew up in coastal towns. And some people here might be like, that's normal, right? It's just, because everyone's being, I know, I transitioned. I lived all my life until we moved to San Diego, far away from the ocean. I had to travel like hours and hours to get to the ocean. For me, that's amazing. And it's a place that I love, right? But I've been to the ocean with my mind in a good shape, and I experienced the full, wholesome connection. And I've been there when my mind was completely out of shape, out of control, thinking about God knows what, problems, and didn't enjoy it all because I was mad with something else. Who knows what? And the ocean is exactly the same. Very similar experience. But my mind was in a completely different state. Right? There you go. Right? So that is the core of ask and it shall be given to you. Because what you have in your mind, what you project in your mind, what you create in your mind is where you're going to live. That's it. As simple as that. As powerful as that. Your mind is the shaper of your life. And in the spiritual realm, what they tell us is that right now, the body sorts of, because the body is so heavy, quote unquote heavy, right? And it takes time for our minds to shape our body. And it does. If you think about disease, you eventually get disease. If you think about lack of health, you eventually project that. But the body kind of takes that heavy hitter, right? So things don't happen immediately. What they tell us in the future when we are in the spiritual realm, that's why we have to come to the body. In the spiritual realm, it's more immediate. It's actually transparent. You are what you think. Straightforward, right? What the spirits describe to us is like, if you are seen by your thoughts. Like how people will perceive you in the other side when we are free from the body is exactly how we're thinking. Right? Exactly. Right? If you are thinking, the projection, whatever is in your mind, right, that's going to be you. That's why one of the worst skills, okay, here's the thing. One of the worst skills we can develop on earth is the skill of deceiving. It's extremely useful here, right? Isn't it useful? When you think of something about someone and you hide it, poker face, right? You can walk in a room and you don't like those people, you don't want to be with them, but you put the poker face and you say, oh yeah, nice to see you. And your mind is like, I don't want to even get close to these people. Isn't it an amazing skill right now? We even train our kids to do that. Some with more success than others. I'm not very successful at training mind. But this is amazing for them. Because the skill of deceiving your thoughts to others is terrible. Here works. Because I can poker face and I can show a facade. But what they tell us in spirituality, in spirit, that's completely useless. Because what people see is not what you say, is what you think, is your mind. They project around, they form you, right? They truly are the manifestation for who you are. So, for us, what are higher beings? What are higher beings when we talk about whatever you call mentors, guides, angels, whatever you want to call them, right? What are higher beings? Simply, they are minds that are disciplined, balanced, productive, and guided by a compass of love. That's it. Like you and I, no difference. But their minds, their minds are simply attuned to be productive and guided by the compass of love. That's what they are. Right? Don't we have, if you look around us on earth, you see disciplined minds are rare. Disciplined minds. Having discipline in your mind is super rare. It's difficult, as we know, right? But we have them around us. There's a lot of disciplined minds around us. But typically when you see one of those disciplined minds, usually they don't have a good compass. The compass is sort of not based in love. Where typically the compass is material stuff, right? Sometimes we have brilliant minds, very intelligent, very, capable of understanding ideas. But the compass is twisted in a direction, usually to maximize material experience, right? It's not an evolved being. But it's very close. Because what he needs, only direction. Once that being connects the direction, gets the compass, right? And then we have the majority of us. We are not disciplined, and the compass is not there as well, and we are struggling to get our minds in line, right? But that's fundamentally the work that we're doing here. I think once you get that way, ask and it shall be given, is so powerful because it's true. But it doesn't mean it's immediate. What they tell us is if you make a choice for your life, if you project the ideas in your mind and you want something, you will get it, for good and for bad. Eventually, that's the direction you're going to go. Right? You manifest that in your life. It will come for you. You attract that for you. You plasm that in your life. The problem is the choices are free. You can make your choices. But the consequences are not. Depending on what you plasm, that becomes you. That becomes your reality. That becomes what we're going to have to deal with. Isn't that simple? If you think about it, it's not hard to understand. And the only thing that takes is to understand that the mind transcends the body. Just that. And if you think about that, all about spirituality. Why spirituality exists? Why this movement exists? Why Spiritism exists? And all other, Buddhism, all the spiritual movements that are around. That's where the work is. The work is transforming the space we have in our minds, this universe that we all have, into a more productive, and fundamentally, all religions talk about that, love, right? Because once we reach that, we will plasm, we will manifest in our life. Wherever we're put, whatever kind of experience we have to go through, how difficult, whatever happens around us, our minds will plasm that reality. The same way, if your mind is not there, if your mind is plasming still conflict, destruction, wherever God puts you, you can go anywhere. Try to take a vacation if you're stressed out. If your mind is not in a good place, take a vacation. You see, the mind goes with you. You can be in that beautiful place in paradise, but the mind is right there with you, manifesting and plasming exactly what we're going through. So that is the beauty of knowing that. If we know that, once we realize that, if we know it, what's the amazing thing? Is not to judge others, is not to be punishing to ourselves, is just to help us give the compass. Because one thing we have, which is God's love. God loves every single one of us, which means I'm in the process of adjusting. Isn't that beautiful? We are in this process of adjusting. Either we like it or not, because we have no choice, apparently, to God's love. It's not a choice. It's just reality that we will one day, one way or another, be aware and take advantage of. And that's it. That's it for our conversation today. And we now move to our passes.